Oh boy, I have to install Rage to my hard drive. 1%. I wonder. Excuse me, I have to move a great game out of the way. One. Two. Three. Oh, what? What's that? 5%? That's cool. One. Two. Three. 9%. You know. One. Two. Three. Oh, 12%. Now 13. One. Two. Three. 17, 18%. So, I'm all for one disc. In fact, I'm for no disc. But to argue that an 8 gigabyte install for a game on the PS3 is superior to 3 discs is ridiculous. First off, the game will only make it perform about to the level as the Xbox can do it, without installs. And second off, the only reason for this is because Blu-ray's compression is absolute bullshit, and developers are forced to scramble all their information and put it into zip files, thus making you install it. Why? Because the Blu-ray drive is slow, and in order to fit on the Blu-ray disc, they have to compress the shit out of the files into a zip file. Because the total uncompressed files would be far too big even for a Blu-ray disc. So, developers have to go out of their fucking way to make it work on PS3 because Sony has a one-disc policy. If there were multiple disc policies, like on the Xbox 360, you would see far superior graphics on the PS3, and you would see far superior content, and they could fit more content. But since there's only one disc, you get a subpar version with a fucking ridiculously long install time. You see, the PS3 does have a better processor. Doesn't have a better graphics card, doesn't have more RAM, but it has a better processor. And since it has a better processor, we could see a lot more shit on screen, and games could do a lot more things. But the graphics card kind of holds it back, because as you can see, even these still images are having frame rate problems. The PS3 is a good console, but to say that it's arguably just vastly superior is idiotic, because it really holds developers back due to all the limitations that Sony puts on it. And not only that, but it's also held back due to the fact that the machine itself runs on 6-year-old hardware almost. Both of you got to realize that the insides of the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 are pretty much the same. There's such a minor difference, and all Blu-ray will ever be able to do is provide more content for languages, so that they can make one copy of the game, one region of the game, and it'll work all across PS3s. That's fine and dandy. But most Xbox 360 games only run English and have a vastly smaller file size, because they don't have to abide to the same rules that Sony forces on their developers. Also due to the fact that the PS3 has a slave processing in a cell processor, also holds it back. So those 8 cores that a lot of PS3 fans like to brag about, you can only use 6 of them. One is disabled, one's only for the OS, and the other 6 are for games. But a lot of them also hold up stupid things like the graphics card. They use a lot of power to power the graphics card, because the graphics card is extremely weak. The Xbox 360 almost has 2 or 3 million more colors than the PS3 does in its graphics card. That's just the graphics card alone. And the PS3 has, as I was saying, as we're at 50%, the PS3 also dedicates half its RAM to power its graphics card as well. Which is why you can't have things like cross-game chat, in-game invites throughout the system, because the PS3 can't handle it, due to the fact that it has to dedicate half its RAM to make its last-gen graphics card run at the same level as the Xbox 360s. I'm so sick of hearing this vastly superior hardware comment, because simply, it's not true. The machines are pretty much on the same level. Even the creator of the 2 processors for the Xbox 360 and PS3 said it himself. In fact, the prototype of the cell processor is in the Xbox 360. It doesn't use slave to manage its cores, so the Xbox 360 is a lot more open, just like a PC is. It also uses DirectX 9 and runs on a modified version of Windows XP. Whereas the PS3 runs on a modified version of Linux and uses DirectX. It doesn't use DirectX at all. It uses OpenGL. So that leads to a lot of cross-platform problems and a lot of engine problems. And the reason why Valve went to the PS3 is because the Macintosh also uses OpenGL. And since they were developing for OpenGL anyway, they might as well have gone to the PS3. So there you go. There's a little history lesson for y'all. And 58%. Yep. Because, 3 discs is such a pain in the ass. Especially since I'm renting this game. That's the only pain in the ass 3 discs come in. Because since I'm renting this game from Redbox, I can only rent it on PS3 because they only rent out 1 disc. But if I bought this game, Samuel out.